Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my one block world. I hope you're ready for some brand new fun adventures today. Well, last video we built this mob farm. It's currently only, one floor when I really do want it to be, at least 3. But what I really want to get done today is see just how much stuff we can kind of gather in like one video. So this is everything we kind of gathered at the end of last video, which is a decent amount of everything. But I want to see just how much gold we really do get in just one day. Of course, we know experience is going to be a lot, but I do want to figure out just how much gold we're really getting. The only thing we really have to check on is that we're not getting too many golden swords in here because they kind of clog up the system. But other than that, we're good to keep going and just kind of see just how many pieces of gold we get. I think right now we kind of have half a stack or so of gold, which is not nothing. And then I want to see, oh my goodness, if we do all of this and then head over to our piglins that trade, if we can see just how much, of everything we're kind of getting. So that is going to be the video today. And who knows what we'll get up to in the meantime, because I tend to get distracted in this world because nothing ever quite goes to plan. But we've got a mob farm, and it's functional, and it's awesome, and I think that is what matters more than anything. This mob farm was a lot of fun to make. It's a little bit terrifying to build up near the nether roof, mainly because, well, actually it wouldn't have made a difference if we were building on the ground floor because this is a one block world, so there is no ground floor. So any misstep I take would have me falling into the nothingness, which isn't the end of the world, of course. It's just that then I would lose all my armor and all my tools, which would be a little bit of a devastating problem to have, but I think I could have dealt with it, but I didn't necessarily want to. So last video, this is what we made. We want to eventually have 3 floors of this. So right now we have the 1 magma floor. We have enough magma to do it all, but at the center right there is a little turtle egg, which the mobs are attracted to because they want to step on it, and that causes them to fall. So we're currently waiting to just fish up 2 more turtle eggs because that's, the only way we currently have of getting turtles. If I would have thought of this, earlier, I could have potentially, I don't know, fished more. I could have maybe had 2 turtle eggs and turned them into 2 turtles and then from there, keep going. But unfortunately, I didn't think ahead and I just decided let's collect all the magma, and then I didn't consider I needed 2 more turtle eggs. So that is currently what we're kind of, waiting on in terms of this project and getting it all done. But luckily, eventually we will get it all done. And in these, couple of minutes of just talking, we honestly got quite a number of gold. I will not lie. It is a decent number. Nothing really is spawning at the minute, which I've never had at this farm before. I say as if I've had this farm for years and years and tested it and everything, but it's been like maybe 10 minutes total at this farm. I just need to be a little bit more patient, it seems. But so far I'm really liking this farm. I definitely think get 2 more floors up there, everything is going to get done 3 times as quickly, and I think that'll be awesome. But until we kind of get to that stage, we're just going to keep going. See how many blocks we can gather, how many pieces of iron. Now, not iron, we have an iron farm in the main world, but gold. Gold is an important one for us if you've missed, any of the videos leading up to this, because we have piglins that will trade. Obviously, as a normal Minecraft, and they'll trade for gold. But what is interesting is, as you can see also here, the loot drops and the trading tables have been changed a little bit. So usually you can only get golden nuggets and rotten flesh from these guys, I believe. And now we're obviously getting just all of this, and probably their swords. But we're getting all of this. And what's interesting is the same has been done for the piglins, where they have interesting new trades. And so I kind of want to see, exactly what we can get from them. The main project we kind of have going on is in the nether. Using nether bricks, I want to build like a structure, like a spawnable structure, much like this one, that I want to try and have for specifically blazes and the wither skeletons, because generally those both spawn in nether structures. I guess I think that's the only place they spawn. Blazes only spawn with a blaze spawner, and I think the wither skeletons just only spawn on blaze, on nether brick structures in the nether fortress, but since this is a 1-block world, we do not have a nether fortress, nor do we have blaze spawners. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's any way that I can increase the odds of the right biome existing and the mobs drop and spawn there, because we sometimes get blazes at our portal, but we have no real way of getting like a lot of blazes. Like with this farm I can kind of say I really only want these guys because of the biome we're in and the material and stuff, but we don't have that same option with blazes at the moment. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if maybe potentially if we make a structure out of nether brick and simulate their natural spawning habitat, if maybe that's how the coding has been changed for this. But of course I do not know. We shall have to figure it out as we go along. But we'll figure it out as we go along. And so far, you know what? We're doing pretty decent in getting all of this material. I think there's a good chance that like a lot of this is not going to be used, right? I don't really currently see any use for all of this rotten flesh. We have our zombie farm in the mainland. I don't really know if twisting vines or warped roots really have much of a use. Netherrack, of course, we can get in the main world as well as with trading, and the only thing we're really going to be looking out for here is going to be the gold. That is the main thing I'm looking for, and the main reason I built this farm in the first place. And you know what? I think it's looking good. I am quite happy with the progress we have made. And yes, the XP of it is also pretty decent, but the main selling point is going to be this gold production. Because I'm pretty sure with all of this, if we get a full row, then we have 1 stack of gold. And then obviously we're also collecting this gold as well as we go along. So we've got a decent amount of gold here. We have over a stack already, but even in these, I think within 10 minutes we could probably get a stack going here. So a stack of gold in 10 minutes is not nothing. It does obviously mean we kind of do have to work for it, unlike the iron farm, which kind of just auto farms it for us. But I think it's kind of nice, because sometimes you have to do a little bit of work to get what you want, you know? And I think that is good practice for us to have anyway. And whenever, you know, anything starts looking a little bit too full, we just put it in these chests. And I think after that, we kind of just only grab what we need from it, because I'm not going to need, you know, stacks upon stacks upon stacks of stuff. Only, you know, the gold is what we're kind of looking for. So I think we need to keep that in mind. These swords are annoying. Hate to admit it. They are, though. Okay. Because, like, what am I going to do with all of this rotten flesh if I have it in the mainland? You know, I don't need to be collecting all of this. But all the same, I probably will be. Because I think otherwise it might get, the stuff might get stuck in the hoppers and not be able to move out because it doesn't have any space to move out. But also I don't really know. I don't usually do any mob farm building in Minecraft, so this has been a real learning opportunity for me as well. And this is a little bit annoying. Okay, we just do it the slow way. There we go. I don't know why I think this is a good idea. It really isn't. But eventually it's gonna work out for me. So yeah, you see, it kind of goes through cycles where first it was filling this netherrack, and then it was filling the rotten flesh, which got in my way of clearing this up. Then it went here and here, then it went to this, and now it's filling this. So I feel like if I don't keep these somewhat accessible, I fear it's going to just kind of not fill the gold in. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know enough about this automation to even make my thoughts make any sense, but I worry that if this is full and all of this is full, right? So then let's say these twisted vines have nowhere to go, that then somehow the gold also won't go through, even if gold still has space to be filled. I don't know if that is how this works, but that feels like that's how it works, you know? But would you look at that? We pretty much have a stack right here. I'm gonna wait for some of this stuff to stop filling, and then I'm going to just grab some of it. I could, in theory, make like a whole chest extra right? Have them go instead of like one chest like this, I could have 2 chests like that, but I think it'll still be the same issues. So I think I'm just gonna wait for some of this stuff to stop filling, grab my gold, and see if we can make ourselves some golden ingots. Okay, I think it's mainly empty now. And then we do this. We grab some of this and this. There we go. And now we are pretty much all done. If I do this, we can see just how much gold we've kind of gathered in these 10 or so minutes. 1 stack, and then a little bit extra that we had left over. We of course also do have all of this, which is not nothing. And then some of the stuff in here as well. But I think, you know what? Almost 2 stacks in barely any time. This will be wonderful to trade with in a second. While we're waiting for all of this stuff to, you know, stop filling so that we can take what we need, we of course got a bunch of new spawns as well. I will say, obviously there is like a spawn limit, I'd assume. There is generally in Minecraft, so stuff doesn't get too crazy, so if I do stand here forever, it's not like they're gonna keep piling up. Sometimes I wish that was the case, like I could stand here for an hour and then come back and have like millions of these guys, but I think it's better, obviously, that that doesn't happen, because then the server and everything and every game would lag incredibly. But I think everything kind of works right now. I haven't really left this farm and came back. The issue we had when we first came here is that my bow is too awesome, and I think kind of the fall distance is too great that they're always kind of on one heart. So the issue is I can't really aggro them, because normally you would bow them and then they'd get mad and then they'd come over here. And so what I did was I tried to bow one of them while they were falling, but in the future I don't know if I'll be able to do that, or if I need to find a different way, or if these guys will kind of stay here and then I can just punch one of them and they'll all get mad. But I think they probably won't, because I'll unload this chunk and so then they'll disappear, unfortunately. But that sounds like a problem for the future and not a problem for today. Right now we're getting all we need, and in a second I'll go trade, see what we can find. But right now let's just farm for a couple minutes more, and then life will be awesome and great. You know, if you spend all this time, hours and hours and hours farming these materials, because this is not an easy material to get in this world. To get magma, we need just everything. So this is easy. We can get magma cream, and so we can do this recipe. But we needed 20 stacks of magma blocks, which means we needed 80 stacks of magma cream, and that felt like doing the absolute most. And so then we ended up here. This was the other recipe we had, and lava, obviously a lava farm is pretty easy now that we have dripstone, but cobblestone, every block had to be manually broken, of course, and we have a cobblestone generator, but it still took forever. And you see, if we want 20 stacks of these, we needed 40 stacks of cobblestone, so it took actual hours to get that done. And then I had to risk my life and my sanity to build this farm, because being up this high somehow felt worse than being down lower, even though both have equal opportunity for me to fall to my death. But then I eventually did build this farm, and now I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And so I do kind of want to just stand at this farm, get myself, you know, 2 stacks or so of gold, and then see if we can get any fun, new, unique trades, because some of the trades are definitely really quite rare. We got one smithing template to turn our armor into netherite in all the trades we've done, and I feel like we've done a number of trades. So honestly, I'm interested to see if there's any other like rare trades that we can find. Obviously we only need the one smithing template because we can dupe it, but it would be interesting to see if there's any other fun drops that we can get now that we have easier access to gold. So that is kind of the whole purpose of this. And in a 1-block world, sometimes you have to be creative, because in a normal world I could probably get a nice fortune pickaxe, which I mean I do have a nice fortune pickaxe, and I could go into the caves, probably go into a mesa biome where there's a bunch of gold, and mine and get all the gold I need for this adventure. But this isn't a normal world. This is a 1-block world where I started on 1 block and everything around us has been built from that 1 block. And you know what? I think we've come quite a long way indeed. You know what I could also in theory do, but I don't quite know how to set up, and it feels like doing the absolute most? technically, if we wanted to, we could smelt these golden swords. And I think they'd give us like 1 nugget of gold as well. But like I said, that feels like doing the most. And also, you know, for 1 nugget, is it really worth it? And I think it's just easier if we just throw them over the edge, I fear. Much easier and much quicker. But yeah, you see everything is already starting to kind of fill up. So it does seem a little bit important for us to clear this while we can. And if we time it well enough, so while they're filling the gold, then it actually isn't too difficult. The issue becomes when they start filling stuff down here. If we move any of the stuff up here, then it fills this stuff up here. Lots of up here's in that sentence, but I guess that's fine. Okay, let me see what I can do about this. Let me clear this one more time, deal with the mobs one more time, and then I think I just gotta get going. I can't stay here forever as much as I wish I could. Look how much rotten flesh we've gotten in like so little time. You know, if I had any actual need for rotten flesh, we would be quite golden, but unfortunately rotten flesh is not too useful for me at the minute. The only time I really use it is to trade with my wandering trader villager, who will give me trades for it sometimes, like cobblestone or iron, but of course we don't need iron anymore. I'm going crazy. Why do only like half of the swords go over? Anyway, let's deal with these mobs, try and keep 1 or 2 of them alive. Maybe these guys get upset when I touch the swords. I feel like that could be a way to maybe entice them in the future, so I'm just gonna keep 2 swords here in case I have any need for them in the future. But let me deal with a couple more of these guys. Count our gold, and let's then get out of here. Okay, I think this is enough for now. Honestly, these levels are pretty nice. I'm gonna wait for all of this to filter through, then we're gonna do some trades and see where it gets us. It took me this long to realize I could also just go in here and grab this stuff. And that would help, you know, the whole filtering time it takes. This last one might be difficult to get to though. But the other ones are quite accessible, luckily enough. Now what makes them accessible? It's because the chest is not a full block. Okay. What I could do in theory is we break this guy and we place one of these. Okay. Yes, there we go. And now we have access to this hopper as well, but they're all empty. We've got all the trades we could possibly want. And if we throw these last little swords out, we put the last of our stuff in their chests. This would actually be quite nice to get ourselves some more building blocks. And then if we look at all of this gold that we have gathered, we are quite rich indeed. And you know what? I'm never gonna complain about having extra gold. Let's see how much I can make from all of this. Let's just turn this all into gold. 2 stacks and a half. Exactly. So now let's go down, which is still terrifying to me, and go and deal with some of our trades. You know, maybe I like the fog a little bit, you know, just seeing this fiery fog and then slowly seeing the world I've built in the Nether come into light beneath us. Maybe it's kind of a vibe. It's really nice to be reminded that one small misstep on this ladder ends in my death, because if I fall off at the edge, there's nothing left for me to do. But, you know, the fiery depths do look kind of mesmerizing like this. One more point for modded Minecraft. You know what? The shaders, they make it all look very impressive. Oh, I hope those guys aren't aggroed on me. They could be. They probably are. Nah, they're not. We're chill like that. They don't care that I've killed their brethren up there. They're not up there, so clearly they don't care. I'll eventually spawn-proof this area. It's just currently I'm not bothering. This used to be an old spawn area I had to practice fighting these mobs a little bit better because there were only limited spawn platforms over there. So I felt I could control the spawn rate and hopefully have less fear fighting them. But so far we've kind of gotten better at the Nether, I will say. But let's see what our 2.5 stacks of stuff can get us. There's one child here, which is unfortunate. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. For a second, I thought it was going to slip right into that little gap there, and it would have been awful. So far in our trading journeys, we have gotten everything in this chest. So string, leather, some glowstone dust, I think, some iron nuggets, some gold nuggets, some gold, nether brick, which is what we're kind of looking for right now, water bottles, fire chargers, ender pearls, some crimson roots, nether quartz, spectral arrows, obsidian, and crying obsidian. Hold on. Go and pick some of this up. We've also gathered, this is our building block chest, some black stone, which we just used for a build, some gravel, soul sand, and netherrack. And last but not least, a whole bunch of fire resistance, different versions of soul speed iron boots, and soul speed enchantment books. So that's kind of the pool we're currently working with. I do believe we have once gotten an upgrade template, but we kind of got it without me realizing we got it. So we could have got it from killing these mobs rather than trading with them. So I guess we have to keep an eye on that in the future to see if we are kind of safe and we don't actually need, you know, to trade, or if we do need to trade with them. I guess we'll see in the future. For now though, we just gather what we can. Oh, that's my gold. And we see where it gets us. But honestly, so far so good. Let me throw like 32 more in there. Actually, let's just throw all of them over there, I guess. That's probably in the middle. They can probably both reach that stack. So far, we're getting a couple of nether bricks. Nether bricks do appear to be a little bit of a lower trade. When we get it, we get, you know, more than one, of course. We get like 5, I guess, at a time, maybe even 10. But we don't get it a whole lot. So it is just one of those things that's going to take us a little bit more time to collect. But then I guess once we have it, we'll be quite happy. And so we wait for them to work through this gold and we see where it gets us. And that is them all traded out. I have been cleaning some stuff up as I go along. So as you can see, we have just a little bit more of everything in here. Just a couple more building materials for us in the future if we ever do need it. Couple more of all of this. We kind of have way too much water and way too much of these crimson roots, but I currently don't really have a purpose for those. And we got 55 nether bricks from all of that, so 2.5 stacks will get us 14 blocks of nether brick, which goes into this project over here. Let me kind of see how this is looking. And eventually this will hopefully be another spawnable platform, but currently we're just kind of waiting just a little bit. It goes in here, and I'm trying to fill this out so that hopefully we get some ghasts and some wither skeletons to spawn. But currently we really kind of don't, so I guess that's a problem for the future, but we'll figure it out when we get to this problem. If you have any ideas or how I maybe could get blazes to spawn or wither skeletons, definitely let me know, because that's an ongoing investigation we have in this world. But I'm glad the mob farm worked. I'm glad we're getting a lot of gold and that the trades continue to be interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see what other stuff we can find. But for now, that has been my adventures in my one block world. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I do always appreciate all of your support. And hopefully I'll see you again very, very soon in this world or the next. Alright, have a good one. Bye-bye!